so sorry. Jeffrey Epstein's youngest victim was still attached at the umbilical cord whilst the mother was holding the child because he thought the child would suck better. Guys, castration immediately. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about no prison time, about no, well, they need to, I don't want them to get no little nice injection where they just feel for a second and then they get to go and spend eternity in hell. Oh no, they need to get a slice of hell here before they get there. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't bother to read through the files, and I'm going to tell you why. None of this is a surprise to me. I'm not like the rest of the world who needs all this proof to be convinced that the world is the hellscape that it is. Like, I don't need the proof. I've never needed it. And I just know, seeing it with my own bare eyes, guys, I have a vision. I have a dream. And that is to publicly castrate all of these individuals, and I want to do it myself. You know, I always wanted to have Japanese knives for cooking. I've always wanted to buy like really nice Japanese knives because they slice really well. Well, as fate would have it, I've never had a better reason to get my hands on those, and it has to be done publicly. It has to be a public spectacle, and then once that's happened, while they bleed out, we hang them on the wall and we leave their bodies there rotting so everybody can smell the stench of what happens to people that hurt children. I am so annoyed at the entire world right now, you guys. I can't begin to describe it because it's like, why does it take things to get to the extreme? Why does it take things to get to the extreme for us now to wake up? And then once we do, look, if this world is such a good place, you know, throughout my life, people always try to be like, you know, don't worry about your past because there's a greater world out there and there's good people out there. Where are they? Where are they? Because as far as I'm concerned, as I've been saying, a lot of people have to be involved for this type of stuff to go down. And I'm not going to let anybody forget. Listen, I've never wanted to live more than right now. I've never wanted to live because now I have to live to see justice. Now I have to. Now I have to live, you guys. Because I'm just like, you know, it's so funny to me, right? I don't think people understand what a privilege it is to find stuff like this shocking. If your life has been that comfortable that this type of stuff shocks you, you should actually be thankful. And I don't know why you people are not only having the word thank you to say to God. Because even the fact, this is why I say to you guys, I care about this stuff because I've been through stuff, but I know when people say there's others that have been through worse, right? Which is another thing I hate that people do, you know, like how, like, I think everybody deserves the right to have their experiences acknowledged. And so I don't believe in all this, oh, but just look on the brighter side because they could be worse for other people. Yeah, but do you see the funny thing about that? That's still deeply selfish. That's still deeply selfish on both parts because, in my humble opinion, people say that because they don't want to have to face up to uncomfortable truths. That's what I've realized. People don't want to have to face up to uncomfortable truths. This is where pride even originates from. If you think about it, this is where the devil does what he does because he was deluded. He has to live for all of eternity with the fact that he got in his head, right? Stupid because he knows he's an idiot now. That's the funny thing. Sorry, you guys can't really see me. It's the time of day. So I wanted to hear the song that these guys making this pavement behind me. I was listening, so I wanted to hear what it was. Anyway, the devil, right? He has to live with all of eternity, knowing that he's the biggest, dumbest dimwit of all time, because that's the reality. He's just the biggest idiot. He is the biggest idiot in history. And nothing can ever change that, because God gave him everything, pretty much, right? And some could argue that he was the closest thing to a God like himself, you know? But it wasn't enough, was it? Wasn't enough. I wonder where we see that energy. Epstein, what do you mean a newborn baby? I'm so sorry. Like, I thought, I actually thought men were supposed to have protective instincts. Because what happened to that? Because this is the exact opposite of what I would expect. This is the exact opposite. And it's just heartbreaking. It really is. For a long time, I've been that person that's like, you know what? No one has the right to take somebody else's life. It's God's decision, you know. So I've never been in favor of killing for that particular reason. You know what I'm saying? But you see, the longer I spend in this hellscape, the more I'm just like, you know what? I was watching, I've been watching a lot of animes, because there's no One Piece. You see, this is how I got through One Piece. And in one of the, okay, sorry, I'm looking at this church. They're boarding it up, but there's a car outside. Interesting. Very interesting. And again, that's going to set me off now again, isn't it? Like, this is my point. Hold on, I'm actually going to sit down to talk about this. Bear with me. And in one of these animes, I've seen it a few times, you know, where somebody wants to take down an enemy and they're prepared to go to hell with them just to make sure they've been taken out. And I never really understood. I always wonder, like, I wonder what you have to feel inside to get to that point, right? And honestly, I actually get it. Because you guys know that I talk about, like, how every day I think about Judgment Day. Every single day, probably, I think about it. And I think about how I have to face the Lord at the end of it all. And I honestly think, I used to think it was unreasonable, like I was overdoing it, you know what I mean? Like, live a little. Live where? Live how? There's no life here. All there is death and destruction. Like, the Bible literally says the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And you see, the thing is, guys, in my head, I was like been asking myself, how does this get worse? Because I know that with time, as humans, we're always going to find a way for things to get worse. It always has to get worse, right? It has to get worse. So I was thinking, how does this get worse? And here we are. Here we have arrived. Out the worst that I couldn't imagine. This is the first thing that I've heard. This is genuinely the first thing that I've heard. Where I'm like, okay, now you surprised me. Like, now you've actually surprised me. And now this is something I didn't expect to hear. Like, not because I didn't think it was possible, but it's just not something I would have ever conceptualized. Because why would anybody? Because who the hell is even thinking that? What kind of obsession is that? Like, what kind of level of demonic? You know when I told you guys about the 4 stages of defilement, right? And how the final stage is like corruption. You become totally corrupted and you just become almost like the demon. This is exactly it. And do you know what's so crazy about all these animes that I've watched? Because I've watched quite a few recently. They all have this story of some kind of gods that made some kind of deal with the humans, that created some kind of power, right, which created chaos, right, whether they're mobile suits, whether it's the Titans, whether it's curses, whether it's always something, right? It's all the same story. I've started to realize it's all the same story, because it is all the same story, because we're the same people and we always will be. Like, this place is never going to get better. It's not going to happen. It's just going to be, some of us are going to be the people in that generation to hop on Noah's Ark. And if I was God, I don't know why God doesn't just literally set this place on fire and just to hell with everybody. This is why I'm like, God's love is he's too nice. I think God's too nice. I think I've said this before. Oh my gosh, guys, that's so creepy. Like, just literally right like a couple meters away from me. You know, I told you guys about this local creep dude, the one who I have the footage on the channel from like 2-3 years ago. Where I was talking to him. He just walked past me, right? And when I tell you the way he was looking at me, and he just holds eye contact looking at me the entire time, it is so creepy. And this is what I'm saying, nowhere is safe. I'm like, I just want to sit here by the bench. I'm even sitting outside the church, you know what I mean, here to make my video, which ironically I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And I can't even leave the house. I'm not even like 2 minutes away from the house. I've been outside for all of as pretty much as long as I've been recording. Yeah. And it is the ghetto out here. Like, I can't even make this stuff up. Like, I've been asking God, why he's allowing a lot of stuff that has happened in my life to happen. A lot of people ask God, like, God, why would you let this happen? Yeah. If the world is so, if you're good, why is there so much evil? Yada, yada, yada. And I know why God has allowed all the things in my life to happen. That's why I'm not mad at him about it, because he was like, the only way you humans, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. The only way us humans actually learn anything is when we experience it ourselves. Because when we don't experience it, it just doesn't seem real, because we just don't want to believe it's real, because we don't want to face the truth. We don't want to face the idea that people would actually do these things. You know what I mean? It reminds me of the first time that a grown man punched me in the face. And I remember thinking to myself, I had a few thoughts, which are kind of insane, the thoughts that I had. I remember thinking to myself, whoa, I never thought this could happen. Like, I just didn't think that this could possibly happen. And it was so painful. Yeah. And it was just like, how do you, as a grown man who's towering above me, yeah, swing your entire arm and your fist into my face? The face that everyone's like, oh, you're such a kid. You're so young looking. Oh, you look just like a doll. You just did. I was in shock. The world is a hellscape. Castration immediately, guys. I don't want to hear nothing else. Because again, even the world, this is why, when I'm talking to you guys about all the stuff I'm talking to you about, and I'm saying we can't just keep pushing things under the carpet and being like, oh, I know so-and-so did that, but, we just got to forgiveness, all this in the church. Every time it's evil, every time it's demonic, every time it's this, we're always trying to be so understanding and so lenient, right? Even when it comes to these people, we need to see them charged, sentenced. In what system? Because they're all in that system as well. You think the system itself is not guilty, and send them to prison for what we've sent. This is how I know this place is sickening, yeah? Epstein and Diddy both are experiencing, as we speak, the exact things that I would want, right? Diddy, he's somewhere where nobody can get a hold of him. He has everything he wants there, right? He doesn't have to think about what he's going to eat, what he's going to, whatever. He has all the time in the world to do whatever the hell he wants, and no one can contact him, right? Living the life. Epstein, everyone thinks he's dead. Throughout my life, I used to think, is there a way I can actually fake my death so then I could just start a new life? I would love to be able to fake my death, right? And then you just got to go off and live. The people that you want to be away from, you're away from them, and you just get to be somewhere else. Everybody thinks you're dead. No one's bothering you. No one's giving you no attention. Yeah, this is they're literally living the dream as a result of their actions. And what am I living with? I come out here to make a little video, and I got this guy looking at me like whatever, yeah, and all sorts of things. I can't even leave the house, yeah, or nothing. Everywhere I turn, because as now I've been in this town, yeah, especially the last maybe say 6 to 8 to 9 months, I have to say I can't leave the house without some kind of man asking something of me or trying to talk to me, and it's not fun. I think a lot of people think oh, that's so nice, getting this. It's not nice, because you know what it is, yeah. You realize that you're just a utility. I've said this before. You're just a utility. They see it, they like it, like that. What's that line by Ariana Grande? I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it, right? That's actually what they are like. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. That's in their head. They think, I'm not a human to them. Most of them, I'm not a human. I'm a facility. Oh, you seem like such a sweet girl. I would like to. They're all telling me all about the future as if because they're interested in me, now this is happening. Excuse me, do I matter? Does my feelings matter? If I'm interested, does that matter? Do you even know anything about me? You don't know anything about me. And it's crazy. I ask them all the time, yeah, what if I'm a wicked woman? Yeah, what if I'm a wicked woman? What? Over their heads. You know why? Because they're busy, lost in the source, lost in the enslavement that they have, yeah? And it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. It's actually, I actually hate it. I've got to the point where, yeah, when I get in the shower, I can't wash off the dirt I feel from the way that I get treated, yeah, and I've been treated in this life. And that's me who gets to freely live and isn't going through these things these kids are going through. So can you only imagine? This is what I'm thinking. Can you only imagine, yeah? This one, I think the Lord is like saying to you, he's like, look, if this is what you're going through, Imagine what it's like for the people who have the money, the finances, and the degeneracy levels to do whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean? It's actually freaking insane. Actually insane. Actually, oh my goodness, I have to think about that. I don't know if I want to mention this in the video. And so I'm just sick and tired of it, guys. Like I'm actually sick and tired, and I actually don't think anybody should be thinking, planning, talking about anything other than this. And I'm not talking about Epstein. I'm talking about the whole system itself, because it's all over the world. It's all over the place. This is why, like I'm saying, in watching these animes, I'm sitting there thinking, well, isn't that funny that they're showing the same exact stuff again in all these anime? They're eating at the highest level, the richest, the most powerful, the royal families. They're eating human flesh. There's child sacrificing. There's this, there's that. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's almost as if that's the truth. It's almost as if this reality that we all think it is, right? Oh, look at this. It's a nice sunny day. Look at all these nice houses, cars parked, right? The kids are at school over there. The parents all work. Everyone's just going about their day. What am I going to cook for my family for dinner tonight? Oh, I got to catch up with the latest episode of Bridgerton. Oh, I can't wait for the holiday this year. Like, everyone's just living their selfish lives, yeah, whilst ignoring the fact that the world we're living in, like, ignoring problems doesn't make them go away. It's like having a virus or whatever. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. You can't ignore cancer and just hope that it goes away. It will multiply and multiply and multiply. And then what are you going to do when it multiplies and then you get there? And now everyone wants to be like, oh my gosh, look at the world now. It's like hell now. Oh, I never knew this is hell. We're living in hell. We always were. When weren't we? When weren't we? Yeah, right. So now some of us who all along were saying to everybody about why we don't want to be alive are not looking so crazy all freaking sudden. Not looking so crazy all of a freaking sudden. Because now you guys are having the context for how some of us see the world. Right? Now some of you are realizing how privileged you are to think that it's such a freaking nice place to be. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. So no, I can't stand for this. Like, I'm telling you guys, yeah, I'm starting to feel motivated again by something, like, actually for the first time in, I don't know how many years, right? Like on a deep level, because yeah, they have to go down. Like, I can't stop obsessing about it. And it's the only thing I think about. And that's what's crazy, because I'm here, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to be a healthy human, right? Do a bit of healthy, like, okay, you think about this stuff a lot. All you do is think. You don't eat properly. You don't sleep properly. You don't nothing. Try to just take your mind off it. And I'm like, oh, watch anime, right? It's animated. It's not real humans. I put my phone on do not disturb. I disappear. No one's seeing me. I'm not anywhere. I'm not nothing. I'm going to try to relax my mind and just have a break from it all. But even there, I'm seeing the same exact stuff, the same freaking stuff that I'm talking about. The same damn stuff. Even there, anime after anime after anime after anime, I'm watching it, and all the things I'm saying are right before me. Like the most recent anime that I'm watching I'm watching Vinland Saga. Haven't finished it yet. Anyway, Attack on Titan just hit too hard. That it's going to be hard for another anime to be as good as that was, because that was just way too good. And again, you know, it's funny that they all have in their storylines. It's always a battle of like some group of people who are the rich ones who see everybody else as dirt. Because if you guys remember, years back on this channel, we talked about this guy who had been on like X Factor or something, who made this 5-hour video, and he was reading from this Freemasonry manual, whatever it was, and he was explaining how in this manual, all of these people at the top here, they all look at the rest of us literally as lesser, like actually lesser than. And I realized that even if you look in history, the reason why people are always able, the way that people, the lies people tell themselves in order to justify their actions, it's always you make another group of people seem of less value, right? That's why I feel like even when it comes to things like the transatlantic slave trade, oh, we're going to say that these people had this behavior. You won't believe what we saw when we went to Africa. Oh my gosh, those barbarians over there, they are lesser citizens. They're not even human. So we don't need to treat them like how we treat human beings because they're not even humans. And this is what's happening in all these animes. It's all different. And it's funny because they're all based in different places around the world. Right now in Vinland Saga, they're in England, which I couldn't believe it. I was just like, they're in England in the year 1000, like fighting at Vikings versus whatever at freaking London Bridge. And I was just like, oh, for goodness sake, in the River Thames, sorry. I think for goodness sake, I can't get away from these things. No matter where I turn, if I go to sleep, here the demons are, here is the Lord talking, here is this, right? If I'm awake, here is that. I want to go and sit outside. I did not go in the forest all of winter. That's so sad because this is definitely spring now. It's definitely spring vibes now. And I just didn't because you know why? There's no peace there now because someone will spot me. I'll see some dude grinning at me from like a mile off. How have you spotted me? You can't even see me properly. Walking in my direction. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I saw you from over there. And you look like blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And then they have the audacity. Yeah, this is the thing that actually ticks me off, the freak off, yeah. How any man has any audacity to try and suggest that because all these guys talk to me, do they think I want to have sex with them? Are you kidding me? You think I want to have sex with you? Think that it makes me feel good? You think that it makes me feel like, oh, do you think that's such a turn on? Oh yeah, everybody just wants to use you. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. Oh my gosh, what a turn on. I'm so invested. Let me sleep with everybody. You know, it's funny. When I was at youth, when I was like 15 or other, I had this today's just providing its own backing music, isn't it? I was at youth. Yeah, I was at this youth retreat, yeah. And thank God for these youth retreats I went to, by the way. Like a lot of the stuff that was good for me to do with God was always when I was never actually in the physical church on a Sunday. It was all the youth groups and all the everything. Because like I said, I first ever watched Attack on Titan at youth. It was actually young adults technically. But anyway, and so I was at this youth retreat, and ironically, we went to Wales, which is why I'm saying, and this is where we also are in the show in Finland, where I'm at right now. They're saying they want to go and try and take over Wales. Anyway, and I forgot that I'd been to Wales. So the show actually reminded me that I'd been to Wales. They're like, it's a very mountainous place. I was like, this is true. So much of the stuff that I'm seeing here, because I've actually been to a lot of places in the world, I know that it's actually true. Even Iceland, because I went to Iceland only briefly because I intentionally, sometimes when I book flights, I intentionally book connecting flights, and I potentially try to have as long of a layover as possible because gives me an excuse to like see at least something of a place, right, before I go. So anyway, I had a layover once in Iceland, yeah. It's actually when I was going to America, right? And yeah, I was like, you know what? It's exactly as it looked in this anime. So I'm like, is it really that make-believe? Or are they just found a way to tell the truth in a slightly different kind of way? But anyways, I was in Wales, yeah, and it is very mountainous. And we were on a mountain. We went to do Sermon on the Mount on the Mount. So Sermon on the Mount, you know, it's a passage in the Bible in Matthew. We went and did it on a mountain, and it was incredible. It was actually awesome. It was nice to go up there. And on one of the days, yeah, when we were doing all this prayer, one of the ladies there, yeah, she came over to me and she was all, you know, prophesying. I've heard all these prophecies throughout my life, and I can't lie, they actually all come true. They've actually all come true somehow, and they all coming true as time goes on. Anyway, she said to me once, yeah, you have the prophecy of being like Rahab. And I was like, I'm 15, I'm thinking, what do you mean I'm going to be a whore? Like, I'm not going to be a whore. How could I do that? Like, how could I whatever? Because that was my context at the time, yeah. But over the last few days, I've had a revelation about Rahab, yeah. I was thinking, Rahab in the Bible, she lives in the walls of Jericho. She lived in the walls. She ran an inn, right? And so what I've also been reminded of in all this stuff that I've been watching is that, you know, when all these people are going to war and whatever, they stay places, there's always women, they have regulars, they have this and that. Yeah, this is where a lot of children are birthed from, unfortunately, because now it's only the time we've got proper contraception. So a lot of kids are just born by random men traveling around the world, you know, doing whatever, sleeping with prostitutes in inns, right? And there's a layer to Rahab that I think she has a kind of experience that's similar to why Jezebel hates us so much and why she wants to kill all men, women, and children. Yeah, and that is she gets to see the real realities of people. Right? She gets to see the real realities of people in the masses because she obviously treated like crap. Like when somebody just wants to use your body, yeah, they treat you like dirt. And it's not even that they're doing it like in their speech, but in their behavior. They treat you like a lesser citizen, right? And so I was been realizing that it's no wonder that God said what he said about Rahab, because I was thinking Rahab must have had the experience, because bearing in mind, she wasn't an Israelite, yeah? She must have had the experience that I had with God, where it's like, oh my gosh, well, who are these kinds of men? Like, if you imagine that the men of God coming through and going there and staying at the inn or whatever, who snuck her in, because she snuck in the spies, right? This is why the spies of which whom Joshua and Caleb were there. They were the ones, I think, if I'm not mistaken the story wrongly, but the spies anyway. And she was the one who hid them. She was the one who lied on their behalf and everything. And you might wonder why, right? And I always wondered, I wonder what revelation she must have had. And I reckon, yeah, the revelation was as simple as my revelation is with God. God is the only person that treats me with respect and like a valued human being that matters. You know what I mean? He's not asking for anything from me. He's not only, interested in me for what I can offer him or what he thinks he can create me into. It's actually unfortunate because he's the one person I wish would just do that. Like, God, just create in me, because he knows better than I do. So I'm thinking she's probably used to coming in, running this in. She's time after time after time, yeah. And imagine actually having sex with all of them. Like, imagine how like, I can't imagine the psychology behind that, yeah, because that's not good. It's not good. It's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling at all, you guys, to be used by people. And so imagine these men of God come in, yeah. I think simply they probably just treated her with respect. They probably just treated her with respect. It was probably the glimmer of hope, the first sign of light that she's seen in all that she's doing whilst working in this business. And all just because of that, on top of it, she ends up saving her entire family, because she's like, they're like, look, we'll save you. And she went on to escape with them after they destroyed absolutely everything else, right? And, and then again, what do Christians say about stories like this? Oh, how could God forgive a prostitute? How could God use a prostitute? Like, no one ever wants to talk about that, because everybody's so fixated on the sins of it all, right? Everyone's so fixated on the sins and like, oh, she's so sinful, how dirty. Again, you're treating them just like, there's no different. The way Christians treat the world and treat people, there's no difference to like what I'm saying about these types of men who would be coming through these places, right? Right? You're treating them like lesser citizens, and that's always the justification for people's behavior. It's the same with Christians. Oh, the hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. Your justification for sitting on your high horse of self-righteousness is because you've given your life to Christ and you're goody good who reads your Bible and goes to Bible study and does this, that, and the other. So you get to look down on everybody else. So they're lesser than you. You're better than them. Everybody's finding an excuse to look down on everybody. It's disgusting. It disgusts me. And so that's what I realized about about Rahab, right? Which brings me to why Jezebel hates us so much. Like, everything we do as humans, it furthers the hatred from the devil and from, like, his kingdom. But I'm specifically talking about the devil and Jezebel here, right? The devil, because he's like, wow, I can really convince you to, like, imagine he's thinking, God, and this is the people. He's probably the one who's, sending as many soldiers and whatever as he can to get Epstein to do the things Epstein is doing, yeah, and the rest of them, right? He's just one of. I don't think he's the worst. I think he's just the only one we're hearing about, and probably the sacrificial lamb, right? So for the rest of them to get away with it, right? And he's probably encouraged, because I do believe the devil doesn't tempt us out of just pure evil, right? He tempts us because he's like, I need to prove to God that you guys are the most, you really going to forgive this? Like, God, is this the people you're going to forgive? Are these the people you're going to forgive? This is the people you're going to forgive. This is the people, these people doing this. These are the people you're saying you want to forgive. These are the people you're giving a second chance. These people. Let me see if I can get them to do worse. Let me see if I can get them to do worse. And for that, he hates us more, because he doesn't have that option to go back to heaven. He doesn't have that option for forgiveness. And yet we're going further down the line. And God is just here, because God is a lover boy. And it really sickens me. It's sickening sometimes. But also, hey, would any of us have salvation if he wasn't? I surely wouldn't, right? And I'm not doing anything close to these folks, right? So his hatred, we fuel the hatred, and then we're like, oh, the enemy's working against us. The enemy is using us against ourselves. That's why I said the devil is not an enemy. The devil is as good as a cockroach. He's as good as a cockroach. You know what I mean? He's as good as poison sitting on the shelf. It's only going to hurt you if you choose to take it, right? It's Jezebel now, right? Obviously, she was born of selfishness between the created beings, right? The women and the humans who wanted to benefit from the angels, again, cutting God out of the picture. Any option that doesn't involve God, again, selfish, because with God, you'd have to have an actual relationship. With God, you'd have to actually face the truth. With God, you'd have to actually do the work. With God, you actually have to contribute. Guys, you could not write this stuff, right? So where I am, I'm right near, I'm near a nursery, right? And it just dawned on me that this nursery right near me, I know of a child that was, yeah, at this very nursery. And oh my gosh, anyway, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't have to try. I literally can just sit on a bench and all the reminders of everything I say deliver themselves right to me. Because you know why? Because that's the world I'm living in, right? So back to Jezebel. She was born of selfishness, right? The humans and what they wanted to gain, and then and this is what I'm saying, all of these animes I've been watching, they're all telling the story of the Nephilim. They're all telling the exact same story, in a different way. It's really quite funny. And the funny thing is, they're all happening in different locations around the world with different kinds of people. It's always a different nation that's the one that's considered nothing. You know what I mean? One of them I was watching, it was about a boy who it was one of my favorite ones that I watched because the music was so good. And the boy in it, he turns physical objects into weapons, right? Into serious weapons, because he treats every piece of where he lives. They all live in this area that's like basically where all you go there because you're considered a lesser citizen, right? A lesser citizen, and all the rich people with their perfect streets live in another area, and you're not allowed to go there. That's where they send all their trash, all their everything. But he takes a lot of the trash, right? He goes in there and he steals from their trash, and he tries to show love to things, bring things back to life, like sews back together teddy bears that were thrown away and stuff like that. Because the whole show started out, there was a little girl, rich, in some nice house, and she has a little teddy bear that accidentally gets a little rip in it. And then the mum's like, oh, I guess we should get you a new one, darling. If we sew that together, that would look ugly. And honestly, Loki, I love the like put together things where people have had things for a long time and repaired them. I think that's just like, it's like having scars, right? And so that's how the whole show started. So when I saw that as the first thing, I was like, oh, well, I'm locked in now. I'm locked in because I know where this is headed, right? I don't know what the exact storyline is, but I know where this is headed. And so he turns all this trash just from treating it well. They all gain powers because of how well they are treated. You know what I'm saying? Why did I mention this anime? Give me a second. Yeah, I was just trying to say anyways that this whole idea of having people that are considered better and other people that are considered worse, and that always being our way of humans is justifying certain types of behaviors, right? Because even the devil, that's kind of what he did. He thought he was better than God. He thought God was wrong. He thought we can't do this. We're going to go and do this right. We're going to whatever. But he obviously at the same exact moment then realized the truth, So yeah, while he's encouraging us to do all this stuff, he knows, and it's furthering his hatred. It's furthering his hatred. It's furthering his dedication. It's furthering even for Jezebel, yeah? She's all here with the angel, essentially her mum was one of the most selfish people ever, and the angel. They didn't think about the consequences of what it would mean for her as a child. They didn't think about that. They didn't think about what was going to happen to her. They didn't think about what might happen if they created something that wasn't created by the hands of God or in the way that God intended for things to be done. I don't know if the angels would have known or not. I don't know. The fact is they both chose what they wanted and were frigging horror, right? This is what I'm saying, that the parallels between Rahab and Jezebel, right? The angels couldn't control themselves. So it's the same exact thing I'm talking about. She was probably looking, sorry, I love listening to the Brits having their random convos. She was probably, the angels are probably looking at the women on earth, yeah, that God was saying you're not supposed to touch. The same way this guy who just walked right across here from me was looking at me. Yeah, I can't make this. Yeah, Lord, I don't even care to be on a plane right now. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't know where's to go. Because everywhere you go, it's all going to be the same. And everywhere we go, we're ruining everything. So no, I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to be nowhere. I don't want to nowhere. I was all having fun in games. That's what I'm saying. A lot has changed in a short space of time because I was having fun in games and I'd all planned all these trips. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to here. You know what I mean? I will eventually probably travel like in the short term just so I can feel something. So the parallels, right? The parallels. So then Jezebel's born of that, and the consequences for her, their child, the child that was going to be of the Watcher and women, was that those kids, they never had a chance of going to heaven. They never had a chance. They never had a chance. It's like these kids on these Epstein Islands and all these kids, they don't have birth certificates. Which, guys, this is another reason why I don't really want to know. I don't really want to have a kid, like, because I don't really like that we have to have things like birth certificates, proof of identification, all this control of knowing every detail about you, knowing where you are, as if it's to some kind of safety when there's no safety anywhere. Like, anyway. It's the same for those kids. Those kids, they can't do anything, right? Because if they want to go to any country now, what are they going to do? We save all these kids, yeah. What are they going to do? Because they don't have a passport for anywhere. I don't have a passport for anywhere. Gosh, yeah. And the irony. So I'll just tell you guys, yeah. So this guy's just gone past again, yeah. And he's with his son now. Yeah, he has a kid. He has a kid. Yeah. The people having kids, the people having kids. These are the people having children. This is what I'm saying. If that's what this is, the people having children, miss me on that. I told you I don't want to be part of. Anyway, whatever it means to be a part of whatever that is over there, I need to do whatever the opposite is. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, that's really sweet. This dude just starts stopping and looking at the church. I'm sorry, mate, it's boarded up and they don't have any meetings here because I checked. The meetings are held at a different building. And so this building, again, this is another church that's just sitting here, by the way. This is another church that's just sitting here. We could be in there strategizing. We could be in there planning. But no, they're boarding it up. And no one's ever here. The doors are closed. And I kid you not, I bet you if I walk down the road... Actually, I know for a fact, because I now know the prayer times of at the mosque. Because when I'm seeing it's open. Oh, that's cute. I didn't know they still did... what are they called? Lollipop ladies and lollipop guys. You know, the ones that get in the road to stop traffic so kids can cross the road. Oh my gosh, I didn't know we still did that. That's so wholesome. Oh, I feel so sad for the kids, guys, because I just see them and they look so happy, and you can see them like, this is the wrong time for me to decide to come out and take a break. You come out and you see them coming out from school and they're all holding their parents' hands, they're all skipping and excited. They got their little snacks, they're on their scooters, they've got their Spider-Man backpacks or their Elsa lunch boxes, and they just don't know what they've been born into. It's so sad. It's depressing, you guys. I don't get why we don't get this. But yeah, so I get where Jezebel's coming from, because she's like, imagine Jezebel, yeah, her experiences predominantly are with the two worst versions of men and women, yeah, the ones that are the most selfish and entitled, the women who want to be worshipped, who prepared to do anything, the liars, the betrayers. You can hear it in her voice, because Jezebel has a very distinctive voice, as I said. So when I heard her, I was like, because the women who behave like this, they talk exactly like this. It's the of course you can hear me. Sorry? So when she was trying to bait me out to see where I was at, like, she's like, do you know what I mean? And I can hear her tone, and I'm like, this is how, you see the women that be the ones that are putting spells on the men of the Lord, this is how they talk. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm very conscious of the tone in which I speak to men in, because I understand that it can get a bit techie very fast, right? So she knows that the most worst kinds of women, the ones who want to create chaos, they care about themselves and nothing else, right? And those types of women, they produce themselves in lots of different types of ways, right? So it could be the deeply promiscuous ones who they're just willing to open their legs for the sake of whatever they can get, right? Whatever they can get. Money, power, fame, whatever. They'll turn a blind eye. These are the same women, the wives of all these billionaires, the Melinda Gateses, I'm not going to start saying other names, God forbid I say the truth and my video gets taken down again. I can't believe my last video taken down was talking about all the politicians in the Epstein flight list and how it was misinformation. And now we're seeing all those people in the Epstein files. Oh, I guess they are all working together, aren't they? You know, that also produces itself as the women who just want to be worshipped, right? They want to be worshipped, you know, like the Beyoncés of it all. A lot of these pop stars, they know that the people coming to their concerts, they're charging. How do you know the real lives of normal people? Yeah, you know, people are struggling, you know, the world we're living in, and you're more than happy to have tickets that cost like 2,000, 1,000, 500 for people to come and see you shaking your ass on stage. That's so selfish. I couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't do it, right? They want to be worshipped. You know how that also produces itself? The Karens of the world. Because I think, how did these women get married in the first place? Like, how dumb do men have to be in this life? How do they get there? Because they're always the women, yeah, with the most stable. They're always the ones who are married with kids and homes and this, and who have all the time in the world to give the rest of us a friggin' headache. Which brings me on to the other type of woman, the woman who's only happy when everybody in her house is miserable, right? So that's another version. I can go through all the versions. There's so many versions of these kinds of, you know, women, and Jezebel works with them. So do you not think that being reminded of the selfishness of women doesn't further her hatred towards the women, right? You know, when it goes to the men, right? The men who are so easily swayed, right? Such slaves to themselves, slaves to their flesh, right? So entitled, right? Treating you like there's just something to be used, right? Something that they deserve, that they deserve to own simply because they want it. Right? Do you think that she's gone through generation after generation of us engaging with those two kinds of people? Do you not think that furthers her hatred? Because I get it. I'm like, low key, I get it, Jezebel. Like, that's why I would have chosen to be a Jezebel. I would have, only for the simple fact out of hatred, just to actually, that's why I can actually get into her head. If I was going to choose the kingdom of darkness, I would absolutely do that. And it would simply be to destroy everybody's lives from the inside. Yeah, all these guys, oh, you should come to my house. You just idiot, you dumb idiot. I will unravel your life from the inside. And you won't even know how your life became unraveled because you won't even be able to tell, right? You won't even be able to tell because I'm not one of these. See me, yeah, if I was going to be evil, I'm not one of these girls who's going to key a Kia car or pop a tire or what. That's low level. I will destroy your life from the inside. And then you'll be like, why have I lost my job? Why have I lost everything? Whatever. And while you're whimpering in the corner now because everything is gone and you have nothing, I will just smile at you. The same smile, right? That sucked you in the very beginning when you thought you were the one that was going to take advantage of me. That's what I would do if I was working with the kingdom of darkness. And then you see the women. I would encourage them to do the most degenerate behavior possible and lie to them that doing these things is good for them, knowing it's destroying everything that makes being a woman a good thing. That's what I would do. That's why that's what she's doing, guys. That's why that's what she's doing. So I get it. Before I even knew all of this, I knew that because there was a time in my life, yeah, where I had to really sit with that idea, right? After the particular situation I've been in with a man, yeah. And I thought, I'm just going to turn. Like, because if you want to fight fire with fire, this is going to be Clash of the Titans. And I don't know if you realize this, yeah, but we have the power. So if we really want to go there, but then I was like, you know what? Thank God I gave my life to Jesus at 7 years old. And I chose to take the high road. Oh, well, that's nice. The house in front of me, they've got, I can't see what it says, but I can see the word Jesus. Praise Jesus. But then they've also got a dream catcher. You see what I'm saying? I can't make this up. I can't stop up. Witchcraft. So again, which spirit do you want to win here? Because you got I could not make this stuff up if I tried. Yeah. I couldn't. And this is why, yeah. This is why I don't get why people fight so hard to stay alive. What life and what world are you fighting to live in? What is so good that you want to fight for? Because the thing is, the more we let these cancers just keep going and we don't do something, yeah, the sooner that it's going to be at your door. Because everybody thinks they can ignore stuff because it's like, oh, they're happening over there. Oh, Palestine versus Israel. Oh, over there. You don't think these things are not going to come to your doorstep. And then you know what's annoying? Again, this happens in all these animes. The same thing I see in the world. As soon as it's chaos, everyone's like, oh, what are we going to do? You should have thought of that before. So I'm saying we should have been sorting all of this stuff out in the beginning. I see that even in the 70s, even then, there were people speaking up about all the stuff that's happening now. And people did not do nothing. People turned a blind eye. People took a paycheck because like, oh, you know what? Oh, I have a family to look after, so maybe we shouldn't have families then if we can't afford to have them. That's my take. That's my take. Oh, we're going to start taxing in this country. They want to start taxing the childless people because they're saying it's an unfair distribution of where the tax money is going if you're not having kids. I have to pay more money because I don't want to have kids. How in the friggity friggin' frack does that make any sense? Why are you so obsessed? This is what I'm saying. It's like I say about the church. Why is everybody so obsessed with sex and what to do people are doing with their bodies? Why are you so obsessed with if I want to have kids? Why is that even such a thing to talk about? Oh, it's a big decision. You have to be like, what, 25 was it or something to officially be allowed to get your tubes tied, yeah? But to get married and to have sex consensually, it's 16. Huh? You have to, or is it 16? Or is it married at 16? Like, even in America, I'm like, you people only allow people to drink at 21. How, the people over there in Somalia crying, men in their 80s, 90s, Muslim, because they tried to put in a law to stop people from sleeping with underage girls under the age of 18. Huh? This is the world we're living in. So I don't want to hear nothing from nowhere, from nothing, from anyone ever again about me and my will to live. Okay? I don't want to hear it. And also, here's the thing. I don't want to hear no prison. Let's find a wall, right? We need somewhere big so as many people as humanly possible can be there. And we're not just taking down the names. We're taking down all the people all the bystanders, yeah, all the people who turned a blind eye and took a paycheck, yeah? And we're taking them to the wall. The ones, like the Bible says, there's layers to it. Some people deserve worse punishments than others, right? Just like how in heaven, some people will be blessed more than others. Again, I don't really care as long as I get to see the Lord. Again, a lot of Christians, oh, I can't wait I'm storing up like that pastor's wife I told you about who always says, oh, just storing up my treasures in heaven. Like, selfish. And another one, she's the one who turned a blind eye when in her church, when there was girls being, who had come out that they'd been going through things. They'd been assaulted by some guys, and they just covered it up. They protected him, that he's still there. I think, I don't know. The girls and their families left the church. They were painted as bad. Police were involved, and all the wrong people got blamed. And do you know who dealt with the situation? The streets did. Because the streets found out, yeah. And this is again why I say, yeah, people don't get a lot of things. Yeah, the streets a lot of times are more prepared to deal with things than a lot of other places. What? Go to where? Go to what? Go to what government? Go to what police? The police who's all in on it. Excuse me. Go to what church? The church who wants to cover it up. Yeah, you tell the streets. They hear what? What happened to you? What happened to you? Bro, it's game over. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there, you guys. I'm actually so disgusted. Like, everything is exactly as I thought it was all along my entire life. And I can't believe I was right. I can't believe it, because I've told you guys so many times, I wish to be wrong. I hope to be proven wrong. I wanted to find out that I was completely overthinking it, and I was happy to watch everybody laugh and ridicule me as a stupid conspiracy theorist, as somebody who just whatever, deluded. I wanted that reality, because it's like, do you think I want that reality? Do you think I want the reality where I'm right? Why would I want to be right? Why would I want why would I want these things to be true? What's wrong with you in your head? You think I would say this stuff in the hopes that I'm right? Like, this is what I'm saying. I don't like people. Yeah, I actually don't. And God is way nicer person than me. Yeah, he's way nicer person than me, because I would just let it burn, bro. I would let it burn. And I believe that's why he made the promise, by the way, with the rainbow, that I'll never flood the earth again. It's because he knew he had to say it, because he knew we would push him to that. But he knows his character, that he doesn't go against his promises, but he knew we would push him to give him a reason to do it again. And what do we do with that? Oh, we go and turn that into pride. We turn that into the symbol of pride. Lord Jesus. Oh my gosh, you guys. Anyways, I'm going to go. It feels a bit off to say if life's a game right now. So I'm just going to lovingly leave you. But yeah, it's the ghetto. Anyways, guys, God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.